welcome you all once again. And today happens to be Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's birthday, a man who stood for innovation, empathy, excellence. So I think it's right that we have all these distinguished people here gathered today. So maybe it was meant to be. And thank you again for being part of this panel discussion, which is situational leadership. And we talk about it. I think on the stage we have the OG HR, people who have seen transformation of how HR is viewed and perceived and things like that. So we'll get into that, but maybe because we have our HR colleagues in the audience today, with show of hands, please tell me if you have these questions, Have you ever spent more time managing emotions than managing actual work? Come on, show of hands if you have. No? Nice. You can also. Yes, everybody on the stage can do it. Have you ever had to stay calm in the meeting, but internally you're going, what is happening? Yes, what is happening? Or, I'm amazing, I'm handling it really well. Yes, we all have been guilty of that, I think. And have you ever felt that, I have no idea what I'm doing, but because I'm a leader, I'm supposed to lead the team into calm from chaos? No? Yes? Some situations, we all have been doing that. And then you said, okay, I'm going to create secondary leader. Let me delegate the work. But after 2 hours, the work comes back to you on your desk to solve it. I think the perks of being leaders, correct? And then you are listening to employees' grievances and ever felt, I need a grievance cell too. Lot of times. Yes? Or have we zoned out because we don't know what we are doing and planning for performance review of next year? Yes? So I think we are all sailing in the same boat, and I think your experience on how to handle emotions, empathies, the nuances of it, I'm hoping audience can make use of your experience, right? And leadership doesn't have a rule book. Fortunately or unfortunately, it doesn't have a rule book. What worked yesterday doesn't work today. Not because people have changed, but context has changed. Correct? The context has changed. The era we are in has changed. People's thought process has changed. The Gen Zs are in the workforce. So I think leadership, what it was about 10 years ago, I think it means a little different now. Correct? So with that, I would like to ask you a few questions. We also have a lot of youngsters here who wants to be leaders, eventually, right? They all are aiming to be, aspiring to be. Now, what does situational leadership really mean in today's age? Like we are dealing with hybrid work mode, we are dealing with remote work mode, we are dealing with combination work mode, we are dealing with global teams working together. So in this context, what does really situational leadership means? It's open for anybody. So you can talk about it. Maybe we'll start with you, sir.
First of all, Sastang Namaskar to Swamiji. And thank you, Swamiji, for visiting us and blessing us with this interesting opportunity of understanding HR. I'm really humbled by your enthusiasm to come and listen to HR folks. I'm sure as a Matadish, you do more work in human resources than all of us by profession do. So I'm really humbled standing before you, sitting before you. So please bless all of us. And the second person whom I just can't stay away from is Achyut, the gentleman who comes with his simplicity, the gentleman who brings in humility in action, the gentleman who brings in a lot of value to a lot of us as artists. I'm less of a HR person, more of an artist. And as I was looking at a beautiful painting of the greatest human being given to this Punya Bhumi, he had the privilege of painting the greatest of the presidents we have today. And let me tell you, as artist, and relate this to situation leadership in many events which we all go through. Having spent about a decade in manufacturing and 2 decades with IT, one realization I have till date, I think I have never understood situational leadership even now. While I take that subject in IMB in a prescriptive manner, but heart of heart, if you walk the floor with me or corridor with me, I don't think I've really understood situational leadership the way in which it's evolving. And adding to the complexity is the 5 generation we are working with. Why should we always talk about Gen Z? We are very biased, by the way. We are extremely biased about Gen Z. We were all Gen Z when we were 20, right? So what is so? Some Westerner wrote research paper on baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, and now Generation Alpha. You should not be compliant to any of those concepts. By the way, I have my PhD on this topic. I really did a PhD for 6 years in order to call myself as doctor. And believe me, situation leadership is something, if you want to learn, it is this country and the leadership of this country and the industry leaders of this country. Believe me, my first HR guru or HR leader whom I worked with, he transformed the entire concept of HR. Dr. Santrip Mishra, who was the ex-HR head of AV Birla Group, currently retired, works with the Orissa government as a PA to the Chief Minister's office. Last year he ran for the election, lost the election, he back in the seat of the PA. Believe me, in about a decade after working as an HR person, he worked his subsequent 2 decades as a leader running the organization. Then we have my current so-called supervisor who worked very hard to employ me in Wipro 20 years back, Prateek Kumar. If you look at his career too, he really built meaning to entire situational leadership by being an architect of doing HR so well that Mr. Premji decided him to give him a role of a CEO of an underground assembly and engineering kind of a portfolio. So I think while all the others who are very senior in their profession will be giving a lot of insights and storytelling, for me, situational leadership is here and now, and I don't think we have a defined solution for situational leadership as we speak in India. As we look at Western world, it is very templatized. But in India, I think situational leadership is evolving and continue to evolve because the dynamism in which all of us operate, including what Suhasini did for this stage today, right? Taking away the entire setting in about 20-25 minutes to this place, which was otherwise a cafeteria. Hats off to her and her ability to put a show together.
You can add to the point.
Same, okay.
Yeah.
I think I repeat the same thing, situation, we cannot wait, okay, some situation will come and act upon, because if a system get damaged, IT can come and reboot it for a 10 system the same way. But as we deal with human, every minute is a situation. We need to manage, handle, and go along with it. So that's how we need to be ready for it.
Thank you so much. Vasudha, Vishwanath, anything that you would like to add on what you think is situational leadership?
Hello. So first of all, I want to congratulate Suhasini and team to choose this topic for today's discussion, right? We're all kind of hearing a lot about AI, but I think here and now, this subject is what is key because of the dynamism in which the world is transcending and transforming, also in which the complexities every day is actually multiplying in many, many folds, right? It's not just geographical complexities, right? There's geopolitics, there is whole lot of things with whatever H1B has created as a really crazy topic to discuss. So there's every day, if you just scan through, surf through the news, there's lot of changes that's happening. So situational leadership for us is here and now, and great way of putting it. And how well and how fast we adapt, how well we connect to various sectors. It doesn't have to be a particular segment or a sector or a Gen Z again, or a generation that we are talking about. So it all comes down to adaptability. It all comes down to how fast can we transform. So which means agility is the key here, as well as how can we even help others navigate, right? So that's what is really situational leadership for me.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'll just quickly
Sure.
add. So situational leadership, according to me, is as a leader, if you have to take a decision, that has to be right decision. Now, at the right frame of mind, at the right time. Now, situation comes into picture where what is that you need to do? How is that you need to elevate your team to do a lot of stuff, right? So, I'll take a simple example. In a team meeting, you are the senior most person. Situation leadership can be, if you have a better idea from the team, keep quiet, listen, and get it elevated. Situation leadership also talks about, if you feel that the idea is not good, you have to elevate that leadership. So that's where situation leadership comes into picture. I think, ma'am, you made an important point of AI. AI can be a great coach provided you use AI properly, and you just go and just put a prompt saying that what is situation leadership. It will give you a 100-page literature. But actually, if you ask me, situation leadership is about taking the right decision at the right time, ensuring that your right frame of mind is there. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I think again, I will actually add on to that layer and then you can answer that. Now, we spoke about multi-generational, we spoke about global teams, right? But as an Indian culture, we are a very Papa Dada knows best. Culturally, we look up to the older people in this one. So, in that context, do you think situational leadership is easier for us or harder for us?
See, I think the topic was well started by Praveen itself. He said the buzzwords what people in the Western has put across to us. It's not something which is very relative to Indian thing. So we are coming from a place where, as we talk about the story, right? We all listen to our grandmother's stories or Raji's stories. That is where the value comes from. That is where you learn about all the mythologies like Mahabharata, Ramayana and all. That is where you will start looking up to the leaders. Today you talk about Avengers, you talk about Thunderbolts and all, which is in Western generation. But we had leaders inculcated right in our childhood, where we used to think what I needs to become. Some people used to fantasize as I want to become an Arjuna. Some people wanted to be as a Karna. Where are these leaders coming from? Based on the situations they were put in. So today, if you look up to overall HR scenario as an overall thing, we all started from HR as a human resources department. Then it moved into human relationships because of the situations we got into. I was talking to Arvind on the same thing. Now, if someone tells us what exactly is HR, then we talk about earlier when I was in a mid or a starting phase, I used to always think about hiring and retention of our employees. But now things are different. Now it is all about hearing and relating to what other people are talking about. So how do we connect with other people brings in a lot of leadership based on the situation they're put into.
Correct, yeah. So what about you, Dr. Do you think in Indian culture leadership comes easy? Can it be templatized?
Big believer of Indian style of leadership, and believe me, today if you take 80% of the top talent in top stacked Fortune 10 companies, it's an Indian out there. And believe me, I'm not saying this story because there are Indians there who are leading the organization. I'm saying, if you go to the genesis of why somebody has become what they've become, it has to ingrain into the roots of India. It has to ingrain into the culture of India. It has to ingrain into where we've been built in the joint family setup, and we've been nurtured to take care of our family business or eventually take over entrepreneurial journey. And the greatest of example is sitting here in front of us. So I'm just saying, I think, what do we talk about in the best known B schools about startups? If you go to Mangalore, the place where I belong to, and a place called Bandar where there is a lot of business, right? If you go to Pinia in Bangalore, Bandar in Mangalore, or say Dharwad or Belgaum, for example, okay, Shivamogga from where he is from. If you look at some of those people when you travel across the globe, you meet people across these smaller cities. You talk to them. Each one of them has an architecture of business acumen deep inside them. And if given an opportunity, the crowd here who are having their coffee and tea and snacks, in private, if I ask them, will you start your own if I sponsor your business? I will get 90% of these people do not want to be slave to somebody. And believe me, that architecture, a Western child can't. A child who is born, brought up in the Western world will not be. But an Indian blood in the Western world will be. That's why Swelbies are run by them. Best of the best quiz competition is done by them. The best in class math competitions are run and won by them, and including AI. You know, when I sit in community colleges in the US as a judge to those competition, by design I can see the third generation was an Indian. So hats off to this Punya Bhumi. We belong to this Punya Bhumi, and each one of us have characterization of building our own universe by taking the name of India as Bharat in the future. I wish all of us, and especially the youngsters, I'm done with my life, 50 years old. I can survive another 20 years. But believe me, the 20s and 30s whom I can see today, they will build Bharat. And you have a lot of runway. You have the right runway and the tarmac is ready. Just fly off.
I think your energy itself should be a motivating factor for people to start off in leadership, start off on their own. So amazing. And my next question is for Vasudha, because I have worked with Vasudha in the past, so I think this is probably something that I wanted her opinion on. As HRs, right, how do we model ourselves into leaders? Because HRs are essentially people's people, right? We have always stood with the people. We have spoken for the people. But at the end of the day, at some point, we also have to get into the leadership. We have to, I think, be the captain of the ship. We are, as somebody said, I had to shift the entire venue here. But then you have to do it with empathy, you have to do it with care, you have to do it with concern. So do you think there's a different playbook for HR leaders?
Primarily, leadership doesn't have any format, any vertical, or any, clothing, right? You can be a leader wherever you are, however early on in your journey that you are in. All it takes is own it up if you have to lead something and be accountable for it. So in my opinion, HR folks, while we are facilitators, we are enablers, we do have this unique way of solutioning, right? We always are catering to, hey, there is this problem, let's fix it. There's that problem, or let me look at what is the solution that needs to be provided for a certain team or otherwise. Right? But in that process, we are deciding, we are, taking charge of a particular problem. We are solutioning as well. So we are leaders. And we don't have to have a separate, I would say, playbook to, lead the way.
So leaders are leaders. Whatever hat you wear.
Yeah, irrespective of that. And HR actually is in many ways, I think what I've seen and started to believe is we make really great leaders. So Because of empathy, obviously we connect various groups very well, and we are able to actually understand the problem very well as find a solution. So yes. Thank you.
I'll
You like
quickly add
to-
one thing. So I look at HR as four different ways of doing things, right? One is service provider. So service provider, what they do is they just serve for the purpose. And can they be a great leader? Answer is definitely yes. Then the next version comes in where enable their business. When we enable businesses see that, okay, this person understands human, also understands business. Then we become business partners. In the final version that we drive the business. Today, I am very proud to say that at least 30 to 40 CHROs are running the business.
Correct. Yeah.
They are CEOs who are supposed to be running the business, but then being a CHRO, this person is running the business. So you can understand the impact of HR in the industry, in the company. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I am one of those person who is fighting that, saying that, HR needs the table, seat at the table. The more strategic you make your HR function, the better it will run smoothly. So now probably to Sanketh, because we talk a little bit more about his book later during the evening. Now, how emotional intelligence interact with situational leadership? According to you, what do you think?
Quite a lot. I mean, see, hiring is always easy. When you are signing an offer letter, signing an appointment letter, it is always easy. But the other side of the story, when, AI experts are there, how things are working around, a lot of automation has pulled in also where we have to let go few people because of the business adequates, right? At that point of time, when you sit in front of them, what plays major is how emotionally controlled you are, how emotional intelligence comes in place, while even talking to a person whom you have hired. You have given them the dreams, you have given them the opportunity saying that this is what you're going to happen in next 2 to 3 years if you are with us. And there is a situation where you need to sit in front of them and say, hey, we have got into a situation that we need to have a proper handshake. That is where the situation leadership happens. And I've spoken about this, how to handle also in my book, because it is very, very emotionally connected to the situations of all HRs. We feel very proud when we hire people, but letting go is not so easy. It is more like a benevolent feeling that what we get at that moment, but we need to carry on because there are rest 100 or 500 people who are just looking at the continuity of the business. So we need to look for them also.
Correct, yeah. Now, okay, go ahead, sir. No, I was asking Avinash, actually, do you think this is something to build this leadership qualities in our employees? Do you think the onus lies with us, the HR folks, HR leaders, or do you think it evolves itself and there's not much that we can do?
See, as we started with generation, Gen Z to our generation, we came with, joint family, our mothers, parent taught us, what is the care. Now, with joint families and, people studying outside in hostels and all, those basic things are missing. Being, experience those scenarios from the birth, when we started our career and now, I think it is our responsibility to groom them. What is empathy? How we need to act upon depending on the situation? What is human care required for any person, who is solid to solid, who came to argue for an hour with the proper listening and, reacting, instead of reacting, responding to those concerns, may solve the whole problem itself. So it is better with the current generation. It is our responsibility to groom them, train them on basic, human etiquettes. We train people about different etiquettes, but basic things we need to educate about how we need to deal human. That's a must. That's a need of the hour, what I can say.
Thank you. Anything with Vishwanath and Vasudha, what do you think about this? Is this something that evolves? Is it our responsibility to cultivate?
So I think it is a responsibility collectively. It has to be coming from us for sure. We need to be driving, but at the same time there needs to be in many ways a support system built in, right? Without that, without the support system, I'm sure, taking it up to the next level could become a little bit of a challenge. But if the driver is quite convinced, has the conviction, has the drive, and then nothing is impossible.
Okay, what about Vishwanath?
So I think teaching leadership to the people are three things. One is obviously you're talking about what to do. Second is how to do, and dealing with humans. So in some part and parcel, I think we feel that what to do and how to do, they are good. You just have to guide them. But dealing with human beings is something that you need to make them aware, because this is how, because a simple transaction between two people can lead into a big mess. And we know what happened in large companies, right? Two of these large leadership people talking and firing each other and all that, and a lot of losses and all. So I think dealing with human beings is where we need to focus on, is my view. Thank you.
No, I think since you have the mic and you are the AI man on the stage here, do you think the AI is going to change, or is it changing the way leadership is perceived, conducted?
So AI is an enabler, right? So you put a solution, you put a problem statement, it will give you a solution, right? Now, okay, how many of you use ChatGPT? Okay. How many of you use Perplexity? Which is better? Why?
It's the ease, and as well as the ease of the content, the flow of the content is quite easy, and it's not skewed. The data
Well, extreme. I think you made my easy. So next time do this experiment with you. Ask Perplexity or ChatGPT. I have been writing so many prompts over a period of 10 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? Ask ChatGPT to rate your prompt. In general, it will give you a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Don't stop there. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 is good, right? We should be happy about it. Then ask it, can you tell me how am I rating towards top 1% of prompt writers in the world? Rate me to the top 1% of the prompt writers in the same subject. It will tell you that you are nowhere. Right? Then don't stop there. Ask it, say that, okay, how do I become top 1%? You will not believe from next day you will have an AI coach. So it will tell you what you need to do next day, next month, next quarter. And if you connect that to your system, it will tell you, it will ask you, you are supposed to read this book today. Did you read it? You are supposed to talk to this AI guy, and did you talk to him? All of that stuff, right? So, I'm one more thing that I want to tell you, all of you. Don't go to ChatGPT for the first question. You do what you want to do and ask it. For example, you want to make a presentation on industry academia for a college. If you go and say that, hey, I'm making an industry presentation, can you give me some ideas? It will give you 100 ideas. Then you are like, where to start? But then, if you make a PPT, it has a link. You can actually upload your presentation there. Ask it, can you rate me the presentation that I have done on this thing? It will give you a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Then tell that on each slide what I need to add. Then it will tell you something that you cannot even think about. So please don't use chat or Perplexity for the first instance. Use it for the last instance. So there was a research done by Boston. They studied a brain of somebody who was using it every time and who was using it whenever it is required. They saw that the creativity of the person who was using it whenever it was required was better than the buddy who was actually using it every time. So don't become a ChatGPT of ChatGPT. Right? There will be a time when people will say, you are a ChatGPT. You are giving me answer, you are not responding. So don't become like that. And people are already facing that challenge today. In fact, some of the cases Harvard University have talked about, some people are using ChatGPT for everything. Right? So there was an instance in India, somebody sent that, my mother wanted me to get 5 kg onion. Can you help me? It actually routed that information to Big Basket, and it showed how much money does it cost, and it placed the order, and it used the Google Pay, and it completed it. So we are very happy about ChatGPT doing that. You can directly go to same thing, right? So sometimes we overcomplicate things. We need to ensure that we use systems only when your thinking is stopped. Don't make it think about on behalf of you. That's my view. Thank you.
Actually, this kind of reminded me something that I read recently on LinkedIn. Apparently, one guy asked ChatGPT, said, "Hey, ChatGPT, I'm thinking of starting a new business idea. I want to sell sand to the Arabs. What do you think?" And the ChatGPT said, "Well, it's a quirky idea, but if your position is right, I can tell you how to start your business of selling sand to Arabs." So I think, as you said, don't ask the first question to ChatGPT. It will tell you you are smart, even though your ideas are like really quirky.
There's one more example. So somebody says that, hey ChatGPT, my wife says 6 plus 4 is 9. And it says, no, it is 10. No, my wife says it's 9. Then it asks the question, are you just before your lunch or dinner? If you want your lunch or dinner, say 9 and get rid of this. So they are also thinking. Now this latest LLMs are thinking, right? So you want to use thinking process. That's what an example.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Now, I think just to kind of round up, sir, did you have anything to add to this?
You know, my views are very contra, okay? By the way, 10 years back, I went to Singularity University, and I was mentored by Peter Diamandis himself. So, you know, it's a group of 20 of us went there. When Humanoid 1 was created, now you have Humanoid 5. I'll give you my Kufia idea. Recently, we were sitting together at home and we were challenging both Gemini and ChatGPT. And believe me, this is me, my daughter, another artist at home, and my wife, who's also a relative artist in painting. And we asked ChatGPT and I think Gemini and Perplexity, I don't remember we have done it. How do you do expertise in Tanjore painting? Believe me, miles to cover. You go to Tanjore, who's been born, brought up as a child doing Tanjore painting. In Tanjore, your ChatGPT can't give you answers. Okay, I'll give you an alternative. I challenged ChatGPT and all this AI. I failed 4 times qualifying myself AI, okay? I failed in January. Now they've asked me to complete it. And I think last month I qualified barely with some marks, okay? I'll give you another example. We were choreographing a particular art form. And in fact, I'm going today evening for the same event, 7:30. It's the last event before we present ourselves on 18th on the stage. And if you're interested, please come. NNKRV, the biggest of the hall, the women college, at 6 p.m. we are performing. The group dance artists are performing. You know what I did with the ChatGPT and Gemini? I choreographed and I videographed the choreography and uploaded the choreography and asked, what form of dance is this? Believe me, that could not answer. Team, I'm not against technology. He spoke about, hiring. Believe me, skill is the currency. I agree. If you don't have the will, you can't get the skill. Skill is the entry criteria, not the exit criteria. You need to create people with good skills, but they don't have the wherewithal to, the will, the culture to join you hands with the manager they're going to have. Skill is the necessary condition, the sufficient condition is the will. Be aware. Don't get into this gospel of, going on the stage talking about AI and, changes in technology. Believe me, you and me have created this. And if you are an artist, believe me, as a tabla artist, the tihai and the rela which I am performing, AI can't see it because I learned from 2 generations of artists who survived in India for 600 years. That could not find, AI can't find my rela or my tihai which I am playing. So team, I think we are in a country which has a lot of virtues, a lot of skills. Make technology as your slave. Don't become slave to technology. The day you make technology as your slave, you won. artificial intelligence will follow. Now, I made derogatory statement, which Vishwa is sitting here. He's my mentee. I know him for several years, and he has done brilliant job out there. And believe me, commercially, I teach AI in HR and analytics in ISB. Commercially. Okay, so I'm not a laggard, by the way. Please join my classes if you wish. I'm latest and greatest. I'm a computer science student way back in 94. So I know my basics right in terms of coding and developer work.
Now, thank you for that. Probably, I'll add a
The last one,
Yeah.
last one to add. Because Praveen touched based on something like skill and will.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the same thing. I would love to talk about the same incident, about how it relates to. We are talking about my book launch today. Amazon launches my book without even notifying me that it has been launched in Amazon. I only see through a mail which comes to me once it is already launched. Then I reach to a couple of my own close friends saying that, hey, my book is already launched, I did not know, please go through it. Trust me, the first review I get to see is that it is written, there is a story, but this book is all about ChatGPT. Any author seeing the first review written like this, I would have felt, oh God, I even told my boss what has happened. But trust me guys, if there is a will, the story that what you have written is related to, which is coming from your heart. I have used ChatGPT to ensure the grammars or whatever it is, very honest. But the intent comes from the heart, and no one can take care of that. Even situations are there, AIs are there. If you guys have a will, you can write multiple books sitting in 1 week. But can you do it? That's a challenge. So it is not just about the skill, it's also the will that you need to bring in. So I've been very honest about it, and I love my critics always. So thank you for it.
Now, I think talking about the skill and the will and all those things, right? So we on this stage also are continuously learning because our workspace has evolved into something else that what we started off as. With all this changing, how do you balance your authenticity, your natural leadership style? Is it even possible? Or do we have to go with what the situation demands us of, irrespective of our natural tendency?
So, sometimes you learn from your leaders. The presence itself makes a lot. Their presence itself, makes quite a lot of difference. Like my boss is here, Vijay is here. Vijay, you can wave. So he does not have to come for a person like a HR, though he recruited me to order a bit. It's been a 7-year relationship. But the kind of learning that what I get from him is not something I could get in any of my books, what I read. Because he teaches you by his own actions. You just try to follow, understand how these things can change. He's so humble, so humility in us, he's more into emotions. I don't see even shouting at anyone at any point of time, even the delivery has gone wrong or anything like that. He's that kind of, where to pause, where to think. So, as we are talking about situational leadership, it also comes from those people whom you're working with. And that is where the journey always begins and continues for long.
Correct.
So I learned quite a lot from my leaders right from my day one to today. So I've contributed to a lot of people in my journey, and they are the one who, groom us to the next level. We always talk about two different things, right? Leaders are born, not made. Some people say leaders are made, not born. But there is a contradicting statement, but I feel leaders are born, but through the growth, you also take it from other people and put it onto your own soul.
If you need a hack, this is my hack, okay? Please copy. The greatest of the cricketers have copied. The greatest of the poets have copied. The greatest of the artists have copied. You know what is coming next? If it becomes your style over a period of time, people will start copying you next. It's okay to copy until it becomes your style. I've copied Professor G.G. Prabhu. The energy, the passion which you see now is a combination of Harsha Bogle, whom eventually has become my friend, and Professor G.G. Prabhu, whom I saw writing Schrodinger equation, 6 pages Schrodinger equation. Engineering students will know, first year. first semester topic. Thanks to Gigi. It's okay to copy. You want to create bigness in your personality? I've copied a lot of relas from Zakir Bhai, Ustaz Zakir Bhai. Okay. It's okay to copy. You know what happens? The next eventual opportunity when you accompany Shankar Chanbog ji or Puttur Narsim Naik, both of them I've accompanied as a young artist. Believe me, all the relas I paid is copied one. And I looked good. Because I make them look good. So it's okay to, and Harsha said this once. I asked him, why you always give credit to Gavaskar? I asked him. And he says, Praveen, I make Gavaskar look good. In turn, I look good. It's okay to copy, team. Please copy.
That's an interesting take on it. I think, Avinash, I was going to ask you.
I need to add here, copy leaders, we learn from leaders. Just fresh. Yesterday evening, I had my one-on-one with my CEO for my 15th work anniversary. I asked, what do you recommend for the next year? Only thing, I think, since years I am telling you is be with people, help them, care them, and be empathetic and, go along, hear their voice and solve things. AI, technology, I'm not denying, but that comes. For that, we have other technical guys to handle. For a HR, be with it. This is your value add. I want to see this for the future. So, with that, again, I learned a lot from my boss, Kishore Kumar, who is the head of India for LKQ. Lot, maybe, our vibes match. Mine and Achyut, we match with our vibe, and that's why for a decade we are associated and, in a good contact.
Topics and interesting discussion. The word copy actually gives a little bit of a scary thing. That is because of our teachers, right? We've all been, penalized, or there is imposition because we have copied. So the word copy is scary, but I think having role models, being influenced by the right virtues is something that we have been following times immemorial, right? All of us have. Teachers were our role models at some point of time, still are for many. And we have also role models in every walk of our life. We end up meeting fantastic people through our journey and, end up learning one thing or the other. It doesn't have to be somebody powerful, somebody in a very authoritative position, but I think role models and picking up a very wonderful aspect or a character or a virtue is something that is beautiful. And adopting that into your own personality will become authentic for you. But what I would like to call it out from an authenticity point of view is your core as virtues, as core values, right? If you can blend core values with what is required to be done. You can have a style as a flexing bit, you can have your leadership style, your approach can be a little bit different, but have your core values grounded and, approach any problem, any solutioning will come out wonderfully well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please go ahead.
Just add.
Yeah, sure.
So my first company, I had a boss who never bothered what I was doing. I was thinking that if I fail, will he also make me fail? Which I did not fail, but then he never made me fail. So 6 years later, I asked him, so why is that you are like this? He said that, Vishwa, if I start telling you what you should do, you will never learn. You need to think that if you fail, I'm there. So then I joined another company where this person was very caring and he didn't want to make any mistake. So he would come and ask me, what are you doing? So contrast of leadership, right? So that was the leadership. Then I asked him. So he said, leadership has many, many elements. This is one element. In this current situation, you are in an investment bank. You cannot fail, right? Then fast forward, Wells Fargo, great organization. There I had a boss who was almost like no questions asked, nothing. But then when it comes to credit, he used to push me. right? So today, I am a person who is like all of these three people. I just play a role of anybody for anybody who's, because if the receiving person is a Honeywell kind of a person or a Wells Fargo kind of person, I behave like that. Because these people have influenced me so much, right? So if you have not learned from them and if you're not a better leader than them, I think last 20 years you wasted your career. So that's my view. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I have a lot of questions here, but this session will go on because it's something that we can speak on, and personally it's my favorite topic to talk about. And I think in terms of situational leadership, I have my own example. I was on that side of the table for quite some time, and now I'm here at this side. And my view of things is changed. So I don't know, I ask sometimes whether am I being authentic? But then at the end of it, I don't think so there is a rule book. I don't think so that, what made sense yesterday or on that side makes sense this side. So I think I have seen that going, and I think showing up is one of the most important attribute of being a leader is what I personally feel. And learning continuously. The minute you say, I know it, is when you stop being leader and you'll just be a token person somewhere at the table. So I think that is what it is. And keeping up with again, I'm taking a idea from Sanketh's book. I think leadership is like a strong coffee. It is strong, it's hot, it keeps the room awake with their ideas. So I think that's how I look at it. I wanted to give a few minutes to the audience to see if they had any questions for our panel before we wrap up the discussion. Anyone?
Yeah, I'm Kaushik, co-founder at Ventrix. Good to hear views about situational leadership. I take your last point, about the rule book. So, what's the balance you have to find when you want to have a situation? Do you want to go by a rule book, or do you want to show or go above and beyond the rule book? And where do you find, or where do you draw a line? And any of you have had experiences like that?
I didn't have an experience, but I like what Jeff Bezos said, the Amazon CEO. He said that don't wait for complete data to come for you to take a decision. Even if it is 70% of the data or information that you have, you should be in a position to take a decision, right? So relating to what you're saying is, if you have to wait for the rule book, you'll have to ask so many questions, understand, analysis, paralysis and all that, and then take a decision. By then, it's gone, right? So I think you need to trust yourself in the decision that you're making. And if the decision is coming through the team, and you are enabling it, which is your own idea, better than you just pushing decision to them. That's my view. Thank you.
As I told you earlier, it was all about traditional going by the rule book. HR was all about policies and process, right? Now it is all about people and purpose. So if you understand the people better who you're working with that, you'll be able to understand the purpose, what they have done behind it. So that itself will solve a lot of your questions. So now we are going by that, right? It's not just on the policies and all. It's also the people who are working with that and what is the purpose behind their actions. So if you can correlate this, I think most of the questions are answered.
So thanks for this opportunity. I'm Pooja. I'm heading the HR as well as talent acquisition for a Canadian-based company. So my question is, think that one of you is managing the team remotely for a long time with the varying skills at the different levels. So how you think that situational leadership will help for the remote environment? Because I'm myself working remotely for past 11 years as a HR head. So what if in case one of you were at, my situation?
I'm a hardcore HR guy, okay?
Me too.
Working from office, working from home, doesn't matter, just do it. If you have a belief that 3 days a week you have to get people in, hook or crook, get them in. Otherwise, send them termination letters. That's it. One pulse of showcasing it right, everybody will stand tall. Now, I know your problems, right? I run 250,000 employees. 93% of my people are inside the company today, 3 days a week. I track them every week and showcase the mirror. Today I don't terminate, I don't let them go, but I show them the mirror. Believe me, friends, don't shy away from showcasing a tough mirror. I think all of us, we are in this world of being nice versus good. We are no more the so-called nice HR guys. We are good HR people. So if you want to be good, sometimes show them the stick and the carrot, the way it has to be showcased. Write those testimonials, let the world know. For me, testimonials are important. I can't be doing it in pockets in, say, a city in Chennai without showcasing it to people in Colorado. You know, I want to show it to everybody, saying that I'm a global company. When I take action, there are rules and regulations, and there is something called business. Businesses are here to win and make money. If there is a difference of opinion, that means it's not a business. And you can't have, wherewithal of emotions and, cajolity and emotional quotient there. That is a debit balance there. The EQ there is a debit balance, because you need to take action when it is required. Hit it hard when you need to see the iron being red. Hit it hard. That's one. Second, how do I manage the 2 days a week? My systems, my processes should govern that. The moment it is people, you just can't run processes. It has to be. I'll give an example. In my weekly call, there can't be anybody without the video being there, switched on. Simple rule. Whether they will contribute or don't contribute doesn't matter. Simple rule. You can't be in the bus stop waiting for the next bus to catch to go to KR market on a weekday, saying that I'm working from home, buying vegetables and fruits for your family. You better be on the video. Okay, so I think we shy away from being very nice versus good, right? So I think the better logic would be, whether it is remote or in person, you should be consistent with your actions. Now, actions sometimes look bad. It's okay to look bad. At a cost of looking bad, you can't shy away from taking an action. And that happens all the time. And Prabhu, you are a Konkana. And at home, let me tell you, as a Konkani, as a GSB, if I did not score amongst the first 5 ranks, I was not given the meal in my joint family. Out of the 19 children in my joint family of 52 people, I was isolated that night. Then I realized there is some myth or reality in elders telling us scoring well. Now, my CV looks so good. Thanks to all those people who just had a myth as well as a reality of knowing education can do better for you. So I think sometimes we need to get into the brass tacks and do it passionately. Even if you are not popular. We are not walking on a popularity ramp, like that beauty ramp. We are working in an organization which wins and makes money. So sometimes better be bad and perceived bad. It's okay.
Thanks, Praveen.
Sorry, I'm coming back with another question. Good to hear from leaders like you. Situational leadership and the policies from the government, is there a conflict, or do you think, can India do better in terms of, policy creations for human resources? I see a lot of Western countries have rigid framework, and it's easier, to act on few situations because, you have a rigid rule book. But do you think as leaders, is there anything that the government should do as a policy, or is there a gap in our system? So I would like to hear, from one of the panel members about this.
Sure, it's a very good question. So the policies and framework actually brings in a certain level of normalcy, consistency across. So you need to have these policies, right? There are certain code of conduct, a certain governing principles across an organization, which gets applied to whether it is a manager or a new intern or anybody in the organization. So you need these policies. The situational leadership is how do you apply those policies, and there are times when you actually have to decide. There's a decision making that you need to consider. I'll give you an example. In the current organization that I'm a part of, Ultraviolet, we were supposed to send our vehicles to Europe. So one of the requirement to complete was GDPR. So that's a policy in itself. That's a framework in itself, right? Everything from our books to what we do, how do we maintain the data, to how do we capture the data, everything goes by what the GDPR complies us. There is no way that we can shy away from it. There is no way that we can bend the rules there, right? So as any other, like the ISO framework or any other framework. So frameworks are required, and like, for example, how do you apply it? When do you apply it? What is the approach that you take? What's the timelines that you take? That is where the decision making comes, and that's where the leadership comes into the play. I hope I've answered your question.
Nation building, right? Believe me, 30 years of international travel. If you look at India today, I'm 1 feet taller when I look at India. So if you're asking me how India has evolved in the last 15 years, I may be a biased person, but let me tell you, given all our problem statement in India, we are far, 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 far ahead in the minds of the people when you go and fetch for a tea in an international location. Thanks to the infrastructure building which India has created in the 1.5 decades. I have no affiliation to political parties, but let me tell you, whoever has done it, the bureaucrats who have done the digital India, it's an example for at least 10 forward-looking economies who can't even think about the transformation which we have done in digital India. I'm just saying, it can't be done having the formats and the brass tacks of policies. And I was talking to Nandan Nilekani's wife in the IAM program which we have every year. Believe me, some of the examples she gave in building NGOs in India, I'm telling you today, NGO guys proudly share their visiting cards. And if an NGO belong to India, I think we get a red carpet welcome. I'm just giving an example. So, and same analogy works in an organization. Organizations are built here by the brass tacks of length and breadth of policies and framework. The only problem with policies and framework, when it is redundant, if you don't change it, when it is redundant and you are not changing it, you will be obsolete. I'll give an example. Thai culture of emphasis. I understand the genesis is you should be with highly decorated, outfits in front of the customer. The genesis. Genesis is completely lost because the customer comes in a torn jeans. And you see people wearing tie and the pinstripe suits. You're out of place. Your policy can't determine how you behave when the world has moved. So, as long as you know your policies and frameworks are generating value adds to your customer world and talent world, continue. The day you get a hint, it doesn't work. It's like the adolescent child becoming an adult friend, right? I have one at home who's Gen Alpha, who's 20 now. I changed, she did not change to adapt to her. And when I failed multiple times playing the AI video, 6 months back, I was playing the video again and again, YouTube video. She came for my rescue. My wife was sleeping, fortunately. So believe me, I can't go with the wherewithal of saying that I'm the brilliant of the professors in the world who teach AI, but learning from your daughter makes you a little more perfect than ever.
Yeah, my question is related to the workday policies. Okay, I have a set of people were likes to work 5 days in a week and 2 days off. Another set of people are like 4 days working day and 3 days weekly off. Okay. So just when I was trying to do the R&D on this related, so little bit I can say I'm failed on the workday policies where I can convince the people for 4 days working and 3 days 3 days weekly off. So what's your opinion on this and how I can overcome on this point?
I think Sir has already answered this question some time back, right? If the business requires people to come to the office, then they have to come to the office. Yeah, how you communicate that, how do you make sure they understand this is the problem that you have in hand. And I think inculcate the intent, communicate that very well and create the purpose around it and consistently keep communicating, right? And you will still have a few people who are habitual offenders or rebels, right? You will still have them. So pull them aside and let them know. Let them know what the consequences are. Probably they may miss the next review cycle. So yeah, so you do have things in your hand that you can communicate. You can bring in that sense of understanding and also, if required, carrot and stick.
In fact, you know what I did? When this role was given to me, I reversed the pyramid. You look at everybody in the bottom of the pyramid and ask everybody to come to office, and you have a CXO not coming to office 3 days a week. You know what I did? I reversed the pyramid and showed it to my chairman. Here is the 6 CXOs who never appear in the office. They are your directs. Make them come first. And all the directs of the CXOs and their directs first came, parked themselves. They parked themselves in the office first. I said, that's it. You just do that. Rest will follow. The entire ODC will be filled. The problem with all of us is policies, framework, game plans, always at the bottom of the pyramid. Why? You own it, no? You being an example, you come to office on time every time. People look at you. Even walls will have eyes. So I think sometimes we need to reverse the pyramid. Start from the top. As far as disciplines is concerned, people see and learn. If they still don't learn, beat them on the knuckles once or twice and then kick on their dash. Beat them on the knuckles first. Lower degree, right? And kick on the right place. That's the solution.
So I think in essence, be good at your job, don't be nice to people. That's the mantra, I think. Also, I think keeping in time with the schedule and things like that, our panel will be here for some more time. If you have more questions, please feel free to talk to them. And I think this has been a very insightful panel discussion. And I think talking from my own experience, in this room I have 2 bosses, one ex and one current. The ex-boss told me, connect with people. And my current boss told me, remove your HR hat, connect to business. Right? And I think I see both the sides. And I see how it has transformed me too. So you need to be true to yourself. You need to still have empathy. But you still need to get the job done. There is no excuse for that. I think we have to be tough. We have to be nice. So we have had experience, I'm sure, where we had to let go people and then go meet them outside of the office and have a cup of coffee with them. Or sometimes you have to take them out for lunch and then tell them you are let go. So it's all parcel of our lives, I think. And I think that's what makes our roles so unique. Right? So I think thank you so much. And because it is Dr. Kalam's birthday, I think we all have that ability to recognize excellence in all forms, in everyone and anyone around him. He had that. He didn't believe in background stories. He believed only what he saw. I think that's, personally for me, it's one of the leadership skills I want to follow, that to have that ability to only recognize excellence around me. So I think with that, I thank each and every one of you on the stage to being here, to accommodating the rain, the change of venue, and sharing your experiences with us. I'm sure a lot of them learnt a lot here. I think thank you once again. Now, since we're all here, I will probably hand it over to Sanketh as well. Ultimately, he's the person, the star of the evening today. I think we all have human stories. In a line of work, I think we see a lot of things. We see a lot of people. And I think he is the one who has written a book about all the stories that he has done. I think he speaks for all of us. So I would want him to give a little bit of an introduction to the book itself while we get the unveiling of the book ready. And also, I think we are always, it's something that I have noticed in Fidelitus, we have some kind of an blessings from someone or the other. Today, Swamiji comes here unexpectedly to bless the book. So I'm sure you have a long way ahead and we'll do many more of it. Thank you so much.